The massive ship appeared without warning. It was bigger than anything humans had ever built. It was longer than 10 cities placed end to end. Its shadow fell over the moon as it moved slowly toward Earth. People across the world stopped what they were doing. They looked up at the sky. They saw the ship blocking out the stars. Fear spread like fire. The year was 2347. Humans had learned to travel between stars 50 years ago. They had built colonies on distant moons. They had met alien species, but humans were still small and weak compared to the great powers of the galaxy. The Galactic Council ruled everything. 412 species followed their laws. They controlled 40,000 star systems. They had ruled for 6,000 years, and they did not like humans. The ship in Earth's sky belonged to the Council. It was called the Judgment of Heaven. Ambassador stood on its bridge and looked down at the blue planet below. He was 12 feet tall. His body was covered in hard black shell. He had 6 arms and eyes like a spider. His species, the Dominion, ruled the Council. Felt nothing but disgust. These humans were insects to him. They were primitive, violent, ugly. They had only discovered space travel recently. They were nothing. But they had made a mistake, a big mistake. Human colonists had built homes on 3 moons in a distant system. They did not know those moons were sacred to another species. The theocracy considered those moons holy ground. When they discovered humans living there, they demanded justice. The Council agreed humans would be punished. Pressed a button. His message went to every screen, every radio, every device on Earth. People of Earth, his voice was cold and sharp. You have committed a crime against the Galactic Council. You have placed your dirty colonies on sacred territory. This cannot be forgiven. He paused. He enjoyed the fear he knew they were feeling. The Council demands the following. First, you will remove all humans from the 442 system, all 2 million of them. Second, you will surrender every ship that can travel faster than light. Third, you will pay tribute equal to 200 years of your planet's total wealth. Fourth, you will submit to Council control for 500 cycles. Your species will be watched, controlled, managed. His spider eyes gleamed. You have 30 days to agree. If you refuse, we will pacify your world. We will burn your cities from orbit. We will take your people as servants. We have done this to 3,000 worlds before yours. You will not be different. The transmission ended. Earth was silent. Then the chaos began. People screamed. People cried. People ran through the streets. The demands were impossible. 200 years of wealth. Giving up all their ships. Becoming slaves for 500 years. It meant the end of everything humans had built. The leaders of Earth gathered in Geneva. The United Earth Parliament met in emergency session. Presidents and prime ministers flew in from every nation. Generals and admirals brought reports. Scientists brought data. The meeting lasted 18 hours. Some leaders wanted to negotiate. We can bargain, they said. We can offer something else. We can find a compromise. Others wanted to run. We should take our ships and flee, they said. Find somewhere to hide. Wait until they forget about us. A few wanted to surrender. We cannot win, they said. We should accept their terms. At least we will survive. But one woman stood up. Her name was Helena. She was the Speaker of Parliament. She was 60 years old with gray hair and hard eyes. She had grown up poor. She had worked her whole life. She had fought for everything she had. Listen to yourselves, she said. Her voice was quiet but strong. You talk about bargaining, running, surrendering. Have you forgotten who we are? The room went silent. We are humans, she said. We have survived ice ages. We have survived plagues. We have survived world wars. We have survived everything this universe has thrown at us for 200,000 years, and we are still here. She walked to the center of the room. These aliens think we are weak because we are young. They think we are easy to break because we fight among ourselves. They look at our history and see only violence and death." Her voice grew stronger. "But they do not understand what that history means. It means we know how to fight. It means we know how to suffer. It means we know how to win against impossible odds." She looked at every face in the room. "If we surrender, we are not humans anymore. We are pets. We are slaves. Our children will grow up in chains. I will forget what freedom means." She slammed her hand on the table. "I say no. I say we fight. I say we show this council what happens when you threaten Earth." The room exploded with noise. Some shouted in agreement, others shouted in fear. The debate raged for another hour. Then they voted. 894 in favor, 12 against. Earth would fight. Ambassador was still on his ship when the response came. He expected crying, begging, maybe some pathetic attempt at negotiation. He was already thinking about how many humans he would take as slaves. The screen lit up. Helena appeared. Her face was calm. Her eyes were cold. "Ambassador," she said, "the people of Earth have considered your demands. We reject them, all of them." Leaned forward. This was unexpected. "Furthermore," continued, "the United Earth Parliament has voted to declare war on the Galactic Council and all its member species. Your ships are no longer welcome in our system. You have 1 hour to leave before we open fire." Laughed. It was a horrible sound like breaking glass. "You foolish creatures, you have no idea what you have done. The Council has destroyed 3,000 worlds. You will be 3,001. Did not blink. She did not look afraid. She smiled. "We have a saying on Earth, Ambassador. We have been killing each other for 10,000 years. Imagine what we will do to you." The transmission ended. Stopped laughing. For just a moment, for just one tiny second, he felt something strange, something he had not felt in a very long time. He felt doubt. Then he shook it away. These were just humans, primitive, weak. They would learn their place soon enough. He ordered his ship to leave. There was no point staying. The invasion fleet was already on its way. 10,000 warships, the largest force assembled in a century. In 30 days, Earth would burn. Or so he thought. The news spread across the galaxy like wildfire. A primitive species had declared war on the Galactic Council. Earth, a small blue planet with only one colony system, was going to fight an empire of 40,000 stars. Everyone laughed. On the pleasure worlds of the Vex Consortium, aliens made jokes about the stupid humans. On the trading stations of the Outer Rim, merchants opened betting pools. Most bets said Earth would fall in 6 hours. Some said 3. Nobody bet on humans winning. That would be crazy. News programs showed pictures of human soldiers. They were so small, so soft, so weak. They had no claws, no shells, no venom. They could not even see in the dark without machines. How could these creatures fight the Council? "It is almost sad," said one news anchor, a tall being with blue skin. "These humans do not understand what they are facing. They have never seen a real war. They will be destroyed before they even know what is happening." The Council leaders were not worried. They were annoyed. This was supposed to be simple: send a threat. Humans surrender, take their ships and their money, move on. Now they had to actually fight. "Fine," said High Commander, a massive Dominion warrior. "We will crush them quickly. I want this over in 1 day. I have better things to do." He assembled the invasion fleet, 10,000 warships. Each one was bigger than anything humans had. Each one carried weapons that could burn cities in seconds. The fleet was so large it blocked out stars when it moved. They began the 30-day journey to Earth. Meanwhile on Earth, something strange was happening. Humans were not panicking anymore. They were working. In secret bunkers around the world, scientists revealed projects that had been hidden for decades. It turned out that humans had been capturing alien technology for years. Every crashed ship, every stolen device, every piece of equipment they could find. They had studied it all. They had learned from it. They had improved it. "Our ships are not as primitive as they think," said Doctor's father, a lead scientist. "We let them believe we were weak. We let them underestimate us. That was the plan all along." Was a pilot. She was 28 years old with short black hair and quick eyes. She had joined the Space Force to see the stars. Now she was going to fight for them. She sat in a briefing room with 200 other pilots. General stood before them. He was 60 years old, with a face like carved stone and eyes that had seen too much death. "I will not lie to you," said. "Many of us will die, maybe most of us, but we will not die like animals being slaughtered. We will die like warriors. We will make them pay for every ship, every planet, every human life." He pressed a button. A star map appeared. "We are not going to wait for them to come to us. We are not going to defend Earth and hope for the best. That is what they expect. That is how they have beaten everyone else." He smiled. It was not a nice smile. "We are going to attack first. While their fleet is flying to Earth, we will strike their territory. We will hit them where they are weak. We will make them afraid." The pilots looked at each other. Attack the Council. That was insane. That was impossible. That was exactly what humans did best. Across Earth, old enemies became friends. Nations that had fought each other for centuries joined hands. Corporations shared secrets. Scientists worked together. Criminals offered their skills. Everyone had a part to play. The factories ran day and night. Ships were built. Weapons were made. Soldiers were trained. Earth became one giant war machine. A young alien named and watched all this from far away. He worked as an analyst for the Council. His job was to study other species. He had been assigned to study humans after they declared war. At first he thought it would be easy. Humans were primitive, simple, boring. Then he started reading their history. He read about their world wars, millions dead, cities burned, entire nations destroyed, and then they rebuilt. They got up and tried again. He read about their diseases, plagues that killed half their population, and still they survived. He read about their violence. Humans killed each other constantly. They fought over land, over religion, over ideas. They never stopped fighting. And that was just what they did to each other. And felt something cold in his stomach. It was fear. He wrote a report. He warned his superiors. "These creatures are dangerous," he wrote. "They evolved on a death world, high gravity, extreme weather, constant predators. Everything on their planet is trying to kill them. They survived anyway. They did not just survive. They conquered their planet. They became the deadliest thing on it." His superiors laughed at his report. They threw it away. "You are young," they told him. "You do not understand. The Council has crushed 3,000 worlds. One more will not matter." And said nothing, but he kept watching. Day 30 arrived. The Council fleet jumped into the Sol system. 10,000 warships appeared around Earth's sun. They formed a wall of metal and fire. They were ready to destroy everything. Admiral stood on his command ship. He looked at the screens showing Earth's solar system. It was empty. "Where are their ships?" he demanded. "Where is their fleet?" His officers searched. They scanned every planet, every moon, every asteroid. Nothing. Earth's entire fleet was gone. "They ran away," someone said. "They got scared and fled." But did not think so. Something was wrong. Something felt wrong. Then the messages started coming in. Alert from space. Human ships attacking. Alert from the Dominion border. Human ships attacking. Alert from the trade routes. Human ships attacking. Alert, alert, alert. 17 different star systems. 17 different attacks, all at the same time. While the Council fleet was traveling to Earth, the humans had gone to them. Admiral stared at the reports. His hands began to shake. "Impossible," he whispered. "This is impossible." A transmission came through. It was General. He was smiling. "Looking for us, Admiral. We decided not to wait at home. We came to visit you instead." The transmission ended. For the first time in 6,000 years, the Galactic Council did not know what to do. And somewhere in the fleet and watched the chaos unfold, he did not feel surprised. He felt sick. He had tried to warn them. Humans were not like other species. They did not wait to be attacked. They did not defend and hope. Humans attacked first. Humans fought dirty. Humans did whatever it took to win. And now the Council was going to learn that lesson the hard way. The galaxy had never seen anything like it. Human ships appeared from nowhere. They attacked without warning. They destroyed their targets and vanished before anyone could respond. It was not war. It was chaos. Admiral sent ships to chase them. The ships found nothing. The humans hid in asteroid fields. They hid in gas clouds. They hid in the dark spaces between stars. When the Council ships got close, humans attacked from behind. They used tricks. They used traps. They did not fight fair. "This is not how war works," shouted at his officers. "They are supposed to meet us in battle. They are supposed to fight with honor." But humans did not care about honor. They cared about winning. On the planet Prime, the sacred world that started this whole war, humans landed for the first time. 200 Marines dropped from the sky in small pods. They hit the ground running. They had millions of soldiers. They were sure they would crush the tiny human force in minutes. They were wrong. The humans moved through the city like ghosts. They did not try to hold ground. They did not try to capture buildings. They destroyed things, important things, power stations, communication towers, weapons factories. Then they disappeared before they could catch them. Lieutenant led one of the attack teams. Her team was only 12 people. They killed 200 soldiers in 6 hours. They lost no one. "How is this possible?" the commander screamed. "There are only a few of them." But he did not understand. Humans had been fighting guerrilla wars for thousands of years. They knew every trick, every tactic, every way to make a large enemy feel small. When the humans finally left Prime, they sent a message to the whole planet. It was simple. "We did not come to conquer. We came to show you that we can. Remember this when you think about threatening Earth again." They did not feel sacred anymore. They felt afraid. Across the galaxy, the Council began to learn terrible things about humans. They learned that humans could survive almost anything. Poison that killed other species only made humans sick. Temperatures that froze others were just cold to humans. Humans could lose arms and legs and keep fighting. Humans could be shot and stabbed and still not die. Their bodies refused to stop. They learned that humans got stronger when they were scared. Most species froze when they felt fear. Their bodies stopped working. They could not think or move, but humans were different. When humans felt fear, their bodies released chemicals. These chemicals made them faster, stronger, more dangerous. The more scared a human was, the harder they fought. They learned that humans never surrendered. On Outpost 7, a mining station at the edge of Council space, 200 human soldiers were surrounded by 8,000 Council troops. The Council commander offered them a chance to surrender. The humans refused. They fought for 6 days. When they finally fell, the Council had lost 6,000 soldiers. 200 humans had killed 6,000. The survivors spread the story. They told everyone what they had seen. Humans fighting with broken bones. Humans fighting with missing eyes. Humans fighting until their hearts stopped. The Council sent these stories to their soldiers to make them angry. Instead, it made them scared. General watched the reports from his command ship. The war was going better than he had hoped, but he knew it was not enough. Humans were hurting the Council, but they were not winning. Not yet. "We need something bigger," he told his officers. "We need to make them understand that they cannot beat us." He looked at the map. He saw the Council fleet still waiting near Earth, 10,000 ships doing nothing while humans burned their territory. "It is time to go home," said Time to teach them another lesson. The human fleet gathered. It was much smaller than the Council fleet, only 800 ships, but they were fast, they were deadly, and they had a plan. The Battle of Saul lasted 3 days. The humans did not fight the way the Council expected. They did not line up their ships and shoot. They flew through the Council formation like water through rocks. They got close. So close that the big Council ships could not use their heavy weapons without hitting their own allies. Human pilots flew suicide missions. They crashed their ships into Council engines, into Council bridges, into Council weapon systems. Each human pilot took dozens of Council soldiers with them. "They are crazy," Admiral screamed. "They are throwing away their lives." But that was exactly the point. Humans were willing to die. They were willing to sacrifice everything. The Council was not. After 3 days, the Council fleet retreated. They had lost 4,000 ships. Humans had lost 300. It was the first time a Council fleet had retreated in 6,000 years. The news spread across the galaxy. Slaves in Council territory heard the story. Species that had been conquered and controlled for centuries heard the story. They heard that someone had finally stood up to the Council. They heard that someone had made the Council run. And they began to hope. And watched the Council commanders argue. They blamed each other. They blamed their soldiers. They blamed everyone except themselves. "You still do not understand," and said quietly. Nobody listened to him. Nobody ever did. But he understood. He had studied humans long enough. He knew what made them different. Most species evolved to run from danger. They learned to hide. They learned to avoid fights. That was how they survived. Humans evolved differently. On their death world, running did not work. Hiding did not work. The only way to survive was to fight, to keep fighting until the danger was dead. The Council had poked a predator. Now the predator was awake, and it was hungry. On Earth, people celebrated the victory, but Helena did not celebrate. She stood in her office and looked at the lists of the dead. 300 ships, thousands of lives, mothers and fathers and children who would never come home. Was it worth it? She asked herself. Then she thought about the alternative: slavery, chains, her people kneeling before aliens forever. Yes, it was worth it. She turned to face her advisors. "What is next?" she asked. "The Council is regrouping," they said. "They are calling for more ships, more soldiers. They are not giving up." Nodded. She had expected this. The Council was too proud to surrender. They would keep fighting until they won or until they could not fight anymore. "Then we keep fighting too," she said. "We keep hurting them until they realize they cannot win, until they understand that the cost is too high." She looked out the window at the stars. "We did not start this war, but we will finish it." 6 months had passed since Earth declared war. The galaxy was changing. The Galactic Council was supposed to be unbreakable. For 6,000 years it had ruled with absolute power. No one questioned it. No one challenged it. No one dared. Now it was falling apart. The member species were angry. They had been promised a quick victory. They had been told that humans would fall in days. Instead, humans were winning. Human ships attacked Council territory every week. Human soldiers freed slaves on a dozen worlds. Human broadcasts reached every corner of the galaxy. "Why should we follow you?" the smaller species asked the Dominion. "You cannot even defeat one primitive world." The Dominion had no good answer. They tried threats. They tried punishments. But their power was based on fear, and humans were teaching the galaxy that the Council could be beaten. Old hatred surfaced. Species that had been enemies before the Council forced them together started fighting again. Trade routes closed. Alliances broke. The perfect order of the Council was cracking like old glass. In the great chamber where the Council met, the leaders argued for hours. They blamed each other. They shouted. They threatened. "This is your fault," the High Priest screamed at Ambassador. "You told us they would surrender. You said they were weak." "They should have surrendered," shouted back. "No rational species would fight against these odds. How was I supposed to know they were insane?" And stood in the corner watching. He was no longer just a young analyst. His predictions had been right. His warnings had been correct. Now important people listened to him. "If I may speak," he said quietly. The room went silent. Everyone looked at him. "The humans are not insane," and said. "They are practical. They calculated their chances and decided that fighting was better than surrendering, and they were right." Wright laughed. "They are dying by the thousands." "Yes," and agreed. "But we are dying by the millions, and every day they get stronger while we get weaker." He walked to the center of the chamber. "I have studied their progress. 6 months ago their ships were slower than ours. Now they are faster. 6 months ago their weapons were weaker. Now they are equal. They are learning from every battle. They are adapting. They are improving." He looked at each leader in turn. "In another 6 months they will be stronger than us. In a year they will be unstoppable. If we want to win this war, we must do it now, whatever it takes." The chamber was silent. Then the High Commander of the Dominion military stood up. His name he was the oldest and most powerful warrior in the council. He had conquered 100 worlds. He had killed millions. "There is one weapon," he said slowly, "something we have not used in 3,000 years, the Star Killer." The room gasped. Some leaders looked excited, others looked terrified. "The Star Killer was built to end wars," continued. "It fires a beam of energy at a planet. The planet dies. Everything on it dies. Nothing survives." He smiled. It was an ugly smile. "We fire it at Earth. We destroy there. Without Earth, the humans will collapse. Their fleet will have nowhere to go. Their soldiers will lose hope. We win." "But the other species," someone said weakly, "they will be horrified. They will turn against us." "Let them," said. "Once Earth is gone, they will remember why they fear us. They will remember what happens to those who challenge the council." The vote was quick. Most leaders were too scared to argue. The Star Killer was activated. It was hidden in a secret location, guarded by the largest fleet in council history. It was ancient, massive, and terrible, a weapon from a darker time when the council had built its empire on mountains of corpses. The weapon charged. It took 30 days to gather enough energy. Then it fired. A beam of pure destruction shot across space. It moved faster than any ship, faster than any message. It aimed straight at Earth. General received the warning 3 hours before impact. 3 hours to save 8 billion people. 3 hours to save everything humanity had ever been. He gathered his officers. "Can we stop it?" he asked. "No," they said. "The beam is too powerful. Nothing can block it." "Can we evacuate?" "No, we do not have enough ships. We could save maybe 10 million people. The rest would die." Closed his eyes. He thought about his family, his daughter, all of them on Earth, all of them about to die. Then he opened his eyes. "We are not going to run," he said. "We are not going to watch our world burn. We are going to fight." His officers stared at him. "How?" they asked. Smiled. For the first time in months, he actually smiled. "We have been working on something, a secret project. We were saving it for the end of the war. I think this counts." He pressed a button. A file appeared on every screen. It was labeled Project Lightning. For a year, while fighting the war, human scientists had been working on something impossible. They had been trying to crack faster-than-light communication. The Council had spent 10,000 years developing their version. Humans had done it in 12 months. Not just communication, coordination, the ability to move ships instantly to any point in space, the ability to strike anywhere without warning. "We finished it last week," said. "We were going to use it in the next offensive. Now we use it to survive." He opened a channel to every human ship in the galaxy. All units. This is General. Earth is under attack. I need every ship, every soldier, every pilot. You have 30 minutes to reach these coordinates. We are going to do something stupid and brave and human." He paused. "We are going to stop a star killer." Lieutenant heard the message in her cockpit. She was on the other side of the galaxy, hunting Council supply ships. Earth was months away by normal travel. But nothing was normal anymore. She activated her new drive, space folded around her, stars blurred, and suddenly she was home. 300 ships appeared around Earth, 300 crews ready to die for their planet. The star killer beam was 2 hours away. "All pilots," his voice crackled over the radio. "We cannot block the beam, but we can redirect it. Our scientists have identified a weak point, a small section where the beam can be disrupted. If we hit that point with enough force, we can push the beam off course. It will miss Earth." "How much force?" asked. There was silence. "All of it," said quietly. "Every ship, every weapon, everything we have, fired at exactly the right moment." Understood. This was a suicide mission. They were going to crash themselves into the beam. She thought about her father, her friends, the life she would never have. Then she thought about Earth, about the billions of people counting on them, about the future they were fighting for. "I am ready," she said. 300 voices answered, 300 pilots ready to die. "For Earth," they said together. The beam came closer, the ships flew toward it. And somewhere in the council chamber, and watched the screens with tears in his eyes. "Please," he whispered, "please let them win." The beam filled the sky like a river of fire. It was beautiful and terrible. It was death coming for Earth. 300 human ships flew toward it. They were so small compared to that massive wave of destruction, like insects flying into a storm. Lieutenant gripped her controls. Her hands were steady. Her heart was calm. She had made peace with what she was about to do. "Remember the weak point," General's voice came through the radio. "Hit it together, hit it with everything." The screens showed the calculations, the exact spot where the beam could be pushed off course, the exact moment they needed to strike. There would be no second chance. 30 seconds, someone counted. Thought about her father. He had worked his whole life to protect Earth. Now it was her turn. 20 seconds. She thought about all the people on the planet below, families having dinner, children playing games, old people watching the stars. None of them knew how close they were to dying. 10 seconds. She pushed her engines to maximum. Her ship screamed through space. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. "Fire everything," ordered. 300 ships fired at once. Missiles, lasers, energy beams, everything they had. A wall of destruction hitting the weak point in the star killer beam. Then the ships themselves hit. The explosion was brighter than the sun. For a moment, nothing could be seen, nothing could be felt. The universe was pure white light. When it cleared, the star killer beam was gone. It had broken apart, scattered into harmless sparks across the void. Earth was safe. But the 300 ships were also gone. General stood on his command deck, tears running down his face. 300 pilots, 300 heroes, 300 people who had given everything. "Did we do it?" someone asked. "Yes," whispered, "we did it." On Earth, people did not know what had happened. They only knew that the sky had flashed and then returned to normal. They would learn the truth later. They would learn about the sacrifice that saved them. But the war was not over. Wiped his eyes. There was still work to do. 300 pilots had died to give humanity a chance. He would not waste it. "All remaining forces," he broadcast, "activate Project Lightning, maximum deployment." The Council thought destroying Earth would end the war. They were wrong. Now humanity would show them what happened when you backed humans into a corner. Human ships appeared across the galaxy, not attacking random targets this time. They appeared in orbit around every major council world, hundreds of ships around every planet. The new technology let them be everywhere at once. They did not fire, they just waited. Face appeared on every screen in council space. Every planet, every ship, every alien in the galaxy saw his message. Leaders of the Galactic Council, he said. His voice was calm but hard. You tried to destroy our home. You tried to kill 8 billion innocent people. You failed. He paused. Look at your skis. Our ships are above every world you value. We could destroy you. We could burn your planets like you tried to burn ours. We could kill billions of your people. The council leaders stared at their screens in horror. They saw human ships everywhere. They realized they had lost. But we will not do that, continued. We are not like you. We do not murder planets. We do not enslave species. We do not rule through fear. He leaned forward. This war is over, not because you surrendered, not because we conquered you, but because we are choosing to end it. We are choosing to show mercy. The Galactic Council is dissolved. Your empire is finished. From this day forward, every species is free, free to govern themselves, free to make their own choices, free to live without fear. He smiled. It was tired but proud. You called us primitive. You called us violent. You said we did not understand war, but we understand something you forgot. We understand that true strength is not about destroying your enemies. It is about building something better. The transmission ended. For a long moment, the galaxy was silent. Then the council collapsed. The Dominion leaders tried to order their ships to fight. The ships refused. The soldiers were tired of dying. The commanders were tired of losing. One by one, they surrendered. Species that had been enslaved for centuries stood up. They declared their freedom. They thanked humanity. They promised to remember what Earth had done. And watched from his station. Tears streamed down his face. He had spent his whole life serving the council. He had believed in their order, their power, their right to rule. He had been wrong about everything. A human officer approached him. URN, the analyst who warned them about us. And nodded, afraid. The human smiled. We read your reports. They were good, accurate. You understood us better than any alien we have ever met. The officer held out a hand and did not understand the gesture. It is called a handshake, the officer explained. A greeting between equals. We would like you to join us. Help us build something new. A galaxy where species work together instead of conquering each other. And stared at the offered hand. Then slowly he took it. I would be honored, he said. The war was over, but the work was just beginning. 50 years passed. The galaxy was different now. The Terran coalition had replaced the council. It was not an empire. It was a partnership. Species governed themselves but worked together for common goals. Trade flourished. Peace lasted. There were problems, of course. There were disagreements, but they were solved with words, not weapons. That was what humans had taught the galaxy. Fight when you must, talk when you can. Always choose life over death. On Mars, a great monument stood. It was made of white stone that gleamed in the sunlight. It was shaped like a hand reaching toward the stars. The names of every human who died in the war were carved into its surface. Millions of names, millions of heroes. At the base, an inscription was written in 1,000 languages. Every species in the galaxy could read it. They told us to kneel. We taught them to stand. A young alien child visited the monument with their parent. The child was from a species that had been slaves before the war. Now they were free. Now they had hope. Why did the humans fight so hard? The child asked. The council was so strong. The humans could have just surrendered. The parent looked at the monument. They thought about the stories they had heard. The battles, the sacrifices, the impossible courage. Because that is not what humans do, they said. Humans do not surrender. Humans do not give up. No matter how bad things seem, humans keep fighting. They fight for each other. They fight for strangers. They fight for people they have never met. The parent knelt down and looked into their child's eyes. That is what makes them special. Not their weapons, not their ships, their hearts. Their stubborn, impossible, beautiful hearts. The child looked at the monument again. All those names, all those people who had died so others could live. I want to be like them, the child said. The parents smiled. Then remember what they taught us. Stand up for what is right. Fight for those who cannot fight for themselves. Never let anyone tell you that you are not strong enough. They walked away from the monument, hand in hand. Above them, the stars shone bright. Stars that had once belonged to an empire of fear. Stars that now belong to everyone. And somewhere out in the void, on a small blue planet called Earth, humans looked up at those same stars and smiled. They had been told they were nothing. They had been told they were weak. They had proven the galaxy wrong. And they would keep proving it forever.